Welcome back to Filtered News Updates, your home for real political history, updates information, scandals, and the stories that shaped our nations. Today, we are counting down the top 10 biggest political corruption scandals in the history of the United States and Canada. These are cases with proven corruption, criminal convictions, or historic investigations that shook governments to their core. Please sure you hit like, subscribe, and let's dive into this explosive list. In the early 1930s, one of Canada's biggest hydroelectric companies secretly gave allegedly $700,000 to political insiders associated with then Prime Minister William Lyon Mackenzie King in exchange for government approvals. The fallout was massive, damaging careers and exposing the dark connection between business and politics in Quebec. At number 9, we go back to the early 1900s. The government of Premier Rodmond Roblin collapsed in disgrace after a corruption scheme involving inflated contracts for the Manitoba Legislature building. Several officials were convicted, and it remains one of Canada's biggest political takedowns. At number 8, one scandal. That wasn't just one scandal that led to the resignation of Montreal Mayor Gerald Tremblay, as well as the arrests and respective convictions and guilty pleas of intra-Montreal Mayor Michael Applebaum and Laval Mayor Gilles Vaillancourt. The commission completed its work on the 25th of November, 2015, called the Charbonneau Commission, uncovered a massive web of bribery, bid rigging, and mafia-style kickbacks involving contractors, mayors, and officials in Quebec. This was corruption on an industrial scale. Number 7 takes us to Ottawa. A federal program designed under Prime Minister Jean Chrétien to promote Canadian unity turned into a multi-million-dollar scheme of illegal payments around $100 million to advertising firms, forged invoices, and political favoritism. Multiple officials and business executives were convicted. This scandal nearly destroyed the Liberal Party at the time. At number 6, Congressman Randy Duke Cunningham. He accepted over $2.4 million in bribes, cash, yachts, antiques, vacations, all in exchange for steering defense contracts. He ended up in prison for more than 8 years. One of the most brazen pay-to-play scandals in U.S. history. Coming in at number 5 is Congressman James Traficant, known for his fiery personality and his criminal convictions. He was found guilty of bribery, tax evasion, and racketeering. Congress rarely expels its own members, but Traficant was kicked out after the guilty verdicts. At number 4, a scandal so big it became a symbol of corruption for generations. Interior Secretary Albert B. Falls secretly leased federal oil reserves to private companies in exchange for bribes in the 1920s. He became the first U.S. cabinet member ever sent to prison. A classic example of early 20th century political corruption. Number 3 is almost unbelievable. Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich was caught on FBI wiretaps literally trying to sell Barack Obama's vacant Senate seat. His words, "I've got this thing and it's expletive, golden." He was convicted and sentenced to 14 years in prison. At number 2, a scandal that rocked the White House. Vice President Spiro Agnew resigned after admitting to a criminal scheme involving bribes and kickbacks dating back to his time as Maryland governor. He pleaded no contest to tax evasion and became one of the highest-ranking U.S. officials ever forced out by corruption. And the number 1 political corruption scandal in U.S. and Canadian history. The legendary Watergate scandal. President Richard Nixon and his top aides orchestrated a cover-up of a political break-in, unleashing a chain reaction of lies, secret tapes, FBI pressure, and abuse of power. Nixon resigned in 1974, becoming the only U.S. president to step down from office. Dozens of officials, including the Attorney General, were convicted. A scandal so big it permanently rewrote the meaning of corruption. And that wraps up our countdown of the top 10 biggest political corruption scandals in the US and Canada. Which scandal shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a breakdown of the stories that shape history. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.